All right, so I just wanted to walk you through real quick. Here, let me get these, make this bigger, and I'm not going into presentation mode for a reason. We're inside of Keynote right now, and we had a question inside the Design Guild about boot camps and the thoughts around boot camps, and should graduates supplement their few weeks of learning design, like if in the beginning looking for a new job, should they supplement those with boot camps, and should they practice doing boot camps when they graduate, or should you consider when you are thinking about how you want to spend your time and your investments in learning and developing yourself as a young designer or as a senior principal designer? Like, even if you're 15 or 10 years into the industry and you're like, wow, I want to continue getting better. I want to continue working really hard on my craft. I want to build my system thinking. I want to build the ways that I can have more impact in my company and my team and my personal life and growth. If you're thinking about high performance across the board and you just want to be a better person holistically, then what I'm going to do is talk about my program and talk about this, the way I think about this, because this is something that I've been spending the last 6 years of my life focused on: performance and team and learning and growth. And I want to share how I think about it. So I think it will help you. It'll help you get focused and laser focused. And if you're looking for more help, then you can go check out my program. So we'll get to that in a second. So we're going to talk about this. So one of the things is, when you're starting out and you're thinking about where you're going, and you might be a junior designer, you might be a senior designer, you might be whatever, and it can be for different disciplines as well. So this doesn't just go for designers. This could be for everyone. So I want you to think about that when we talk about what we're going to be doing for our career, or when we talk about where we want to spend our time and energy. It's so important to know what you really care about and what you value first before you just jump into a job or a design role. Like, you want to know what you value and what you care about. That way, when you show up to do the work and design and really get into it, you're not working in an environment that is against your purpose and against what you want to do. And you can actually show up better. You can show up for your family better. You can show up for the people that you care about. And we don't always have that choice, but you can work towards having that choice, and you can work towards aligning yourself with the roles and responsibilities that you want to shoot for. If you want to be at this level up here, and how do you get there? You can work your way towards that. If you're happy with where you're at, at the IC level, or if at the director level, or at the manager level, and that's like what you want, then make that clear. Really understand who you are, so you know how you want to grow and how much time you want to spend on things, and how do you want to show up for your family, all that stuff. So I'm going to talk about that right now. So let's get back to Keynote. All right. So the first thing is, we need to know where you are, and that's kind of what I was talking about right now. Like, what do I want? What do I want to be? And you want to ask yourself, A, B, C, D, E, or F, all these areas right here. These are where you want to be focusing on. So if you want to be focusing on becoming a better system thinker, or if you want to become a better designer, or just an overall designer, you want to be better in the way you bring people together and the collaboration that you have between the team, the cross-functional stakeholders, whoever those people are, what do you want? You got to know that. It doesn't matter if you're just graduating from college, if you're just going into college as a high school student. It doesn't matter if you're in your 40s and 50s and you've been doing this for 20 years. You still want to know what you want to be, where you want to go, where you want to grow. It doesn't matter your age here. So be thinking about these things. Where do you want to focus? That way you can identify your path forward, right? So now what we go into this whole world. Let's bring it back to boot camps. So boot camps right now are, from my research of working Lynda and LinkedIn Learning, and working this is spending a lot of my time researching these things. There are so many different directions and pathways for how you can do something. Like they're just so much right on the internet, and which is awesome. It's awesome. But you have to find out, and you have to be able to discard the things that work for you and the things that, but you just have to try. You have to try a lot of these recipes and a lot of these patterns that you see. But if you're not trying, and you're not adapting, and you're not learning from your mistakes, and you're not jumping in and reading and researching and immersing yourself in the space, then it will just take you longer to advance and longer to grow in your position. And that's totally cool, like totally fine. If you're looking for kind of a slower pace of work and things, then that's fine. You can set that bar. You don't have to be working 60 hours a week. You don't have to be working 40 hours a week. You could be working 20 hours a week, but those 20 hours could be so special for what you're trying to create and what you're trying to build. So, when you think of work-life balance and holistic living, or just being a lot more intentional about your directions and what you're doing, it's so important to just really set the boundaries of what you want to do in your life to be happy. And then once you have that, then you basically can start building out the recipes that you need to be successful. And there's so many books and so many coaches and people that can support you to do that. But you really just have to change your mindset of like, this is a journey. Like, we're going to be on a path here. It's going to be years of work. It's going to be years of focus, but it's retraining and reprogramming like how you want to live your life based on your focus areas, based on your priorities, based on knowing what your kryptonite is, based on knowing different things that, and this is where it goes into my action planning framework. My action planning framework program that I've developed and have people going through right now is helping drive clarity and focus in a 4-week period. So that's like in 1 month, you will have really strong clarity on where you should be spending your time and where you can be driving impact in your projects, and how you can do it faster than probably what you were doing before if you don't have a system already in place. But that's okay. So that's a whole other thing. So we got to learn these recipes. So a lot of these boot camps have these recipes for design, but they don't necessarily have a recipe for the intricacies and all the challenges that you'll face when you're inside of a project at a high performance team, when you have 4, 5, 10, 15, 25 people engaging together to build something special, right? Every one of those people is trying to do their best, but they need guidance, they need support, they need everybody's in this growth period for what they're trying to do and what they're trying to create. So the thing that's missing in these programs is you're learning the skills of what's necessary to produce a product experience, but you're not seeing and feeling the energy that comes from understanding project goals, working on team cohesion, learning the workshops that are going to be necessary for you to move the project forward. You're learning which tools to use and how to communicate in those tools efficiently and effectively, so you're not flooding the Slack channel with nonsense that just doesn't really help anybody. And you do need those times to be with people and chat with people and do that. You do need to think about how much time you spend doing that sort of work, and if you'd rather have FaceTime with those people, or if you'd rather have in-person experiences with those people, and but there's just a lot of different things, but you just want to be aware of how much time you're spending on those things. And then like building strategy and adapting to the environment and the frameworks that the company and team have set up, like learning the frameworks inside of a company to be effectively operating in that company. It takes time and dedication and training and coaching, and you need to spread that out with the team, and that's what design clarity is about. And that's week 6 of Career Accelerator. The way I think about design clarity is you need to move your whole team forward, and you need to push them in this direction that's going to help them understand like what you're trying to do and what you're trying to build. And it's also just being like mindful of that you're working with like more people, and you gotta like understand where people are coming from. You have to work with them in a peaceful and caring way, and respect them, and you start to just see that work can be a lot of fun, and it can be really great to create with people. And I want people to remember that that's a culture we want to live in, right? So I think it's a culture we want to live in, where people can collaborate creatively and work together in a fun way, and it's a journey. So anyway, that's okay. Let's keep moving. We can talk more about that later if you're interested. How do you effectively note take during meetings, and who's managing those notes, and how are people structuring these things? And that's what a technical program manager I would really advise and suggest you learn about that role too, because that's a huge skill. And then learning and creating, right? So we have all these things that we need to do, but not all those programs have those elements. So that's just something to be thoughtful of too. Okay, so now I want to talk about coaching tactics and life work. It's really important that when you're really trying to grow and develop something, or trying to get really good really fast, that you get coaching. There are amazing coaches out there. If you haven't experienced coaching, then I would encourage you to get a coach and invest a couple grand into yourself and budget for it and save for it, and then experience what a professional coach feels like. And definitely watch out for people that aren't adding value to you. You can immediately quickly figure out if they're adding value to you, but don't stick with coaches that are not serving you. I coach a limited number of people every week, and it's important to me for my growth as well to be coached. I've been fortunate enough to invest in that, but like personally invest in it, and it feels incredible when you have a really good coach that's supporting you on a weekly basis, that you can check in with creatively and professionally, that actually can help you advance on so many different levels of your career and your project work and how you think through things. It's pretty awesome. You're basically right here, and you're learning new things, and you're developing, but you're not getting any of this. So you're not getting into the project goals, team cohesion. You're doing it solo, and that's just not realistic, and it's not helpful when you're trying to get a job at Facebook, a LinkedIn, Google, these companies that really value design, and you want to work there, of course. But a lot of smaller companies do that too, but you're going to need, even at smaller companies, you're going to need to be able to do these things at that level. So that's a big gap right now in the boot camps, is one example of a problem. But as long as you have your focus areas, you can still be coming back and forth to what these things are. If you have your focus areas, you can be picking and choosing the areas that you need to focus, because you're always going to need to work on these things, and you're always going to need to be improving your design skills and how to workshop and actually design, interaction design, visual design, all those things, motion design, or just narrative design. I'll keep going back to this one. But okay, so we have that. So now what we need to do is we need to understand goals. So this is another huge gap that's not in boot camps, and not being taught in schools, and not being taught in universities, is how to set big visions and whys and goals, and really get good at understanding personal goals, project goals, passion goals, career goals, how to advance you on all those different levels. This is something that's so important to me, because once I learned how to do this effectively, I started seeing things advance way faster in my life, in my personal goals, and it helped me advance so much. So that's why I produced Action Planning is the program. It's a 4-week program. There's dedicated homework and dedicated video to support you. So every week there's a coaching call video, and then there's a homework assignment video. So you get those two things. It's kind of like a narrative story about advancing your goals and understanding how to break things down. Week 1 is clarity, week 2 is goals, week 3 is the breakdown, and week 4 is practice. And there's different elements. It's almost like you're going through a training program. I built it in a way that feels very high performance and very advanced. So to elevate you, to help you think about those next steps that you that you really care about and that you want to get to. So I want you to get to those things as well. All right, let's go back to the presentation. We have these whys. We need these things, right? Because these things are going to help us be able to do our next big important project, which is the milestones. Milestone. We need these things, right? Ship an app that's cross-device and that benefits a group of people, right? We need to start thinking about the outcomes versus the features that we're building, right? So if we're building these experiences and these products that we want people to advance and develop and grind on, then we need to know why we're building them. What is the goal? What is the outcome? What did we do as a designer to help advance this project forward? We got to think about those things because that's what design impact is. Like if you're not thinking about how you're moving or improving something, then why are you designing it? Is it just to show up and design? I don't think so. I think we have so much more care and intentionality as a community, and I don't think that's the case at all. I think we're really trying to change the world, all of us, to build a better designed world, and it feels really good to do it, to help, to build, to make. So we have these milestones that are going to help us get there. So we need to be able to learn how to break those down. And we need to learn how to plan for them. Like tell a story about how you created impact. Like that's a milestone for you as a bootcamp. Like that should be something that all these things should be a part of any learning person's experience. So I would even remove the word bootcamp because it's not a bootcamp. This is like a life camp. And we should really be thinking about it in a way where it's just like, hey, these are things that we just need to do. And if we want to perform in a way, like it's good to understand our emotions, our values, our feelings, and what we want to do as creative people, like to advance the world. So we need to think about those things, right? We had another one, gain feedback from your peers and stakeholders. What are your biggest takeaways? So I also would look at every project that you have. You want to think about, okay, what are the 3 to 5 things that you can take away, that you learned, that you developed, that you grew in? Like what were those insights? So if I so here's an example of some takeaways that some of my students had from the Next Level UX coaching program. So here, let me go into full screen here. So you can see over here on the left, we'll start the one on the left first. So congratulations to this person for 12 weeks of Next Level UX high performance training. So what did this person do? This person had insights, new strategies, and accelerated 3 different things, right? So this person saw that structure in things. She could start seeing the opportunities, and that better clarity leads to better feedback. So when you start to understand the project better and you help your team understand it better, then you start to get better feedback about how you can improve the project versus like just talking through like communication issues. Like you can start talking about advancing ideas and doing big thinking, level thinking with your partners and peers. That is really healthy to do that together and to share your ideas and share what you're thinking, and the team's responsibility is to keep things in check, but you always want to be kind of pushing things forward and how you can be improving things and be like change makers and just advancing your thought process. So this person also had new strategies, like the design trade-off formula, the presenting and effective communication. Like, what does that look like? Accelerated effective communication, so building trust, and just became better communicators with your partners and through this. So these are just like examples of outcomes and takeaways. New job, new move, new strategies, right? So when you look at a program and what you're trying to do and create, like, I think it's important to help with the whole person, not just, treat people like people and not like just another member. People all have goals and outcomes, and, you can call those things out and you can help people put some definition around it so you can express it back to somebody. So that's like a super duper important thing. These are just examples, some example takeaways, so you can check them out. So let's just go back to, these are just some topics and some categories of different things that I have in my program, for example. So clarity, reflection, goals, tools, people, tactics, action planning, design productivity, design clarity, impact, design energy, purpose, being understanding and practice and how to work in it, understanding influence and courage and design, and where you can take and start thinking about it, how you can start doing mind mapping, how you do other sorts of mind mapping to start ideas and collaboration. So, this would all turn into a presentation, right? Or this is kind of like the presentation now, but I'm just showing you behind the scenes. But now we have like this new opportunity, and the new opportunity is basically like this is what we work so hard for, right? This is the golden goose, y'all. This is the golden goose. So what we have here, we have projects and patterns and things that we're doing. We have the reality of projects and patterns and tactics. Like there's things that we are doing right after we complete a boot camp and we're here, or we complete a whole like project cycle, or we complete a whole mission that we had planned out, or we had at least knew that we were part of, but even though we didn't plan it out, we still were on the journey. You've defined the journey. You understand inside this whole experience. If we just used a blue circle for all the learnings, right? You had learnings and things along the way. You want to be able to take those learnings, and all those things would come. They would help us lead into our new roles, our new jobs, our new projects that we were given, because we excelled and we learned something and we showed what we could do, and then we're ready for new things. The reality is that some of these training programs and stuff, like guaranteeing jobs, is it's great, but what we need to be doing is guaranteeing clarity, guaranteeing a path forward in your career that is going to set you up for long-term success. And it's maybe a 6-month investment to build those new skills and build those new tactics and build those new DNA and working style. But after that 6 months, that investment that you spent is now a part of your DNA, and now you're advancing and making 10, 20, 30, 40, 60K more every year, because you're able to show your impact. You're able to advance your ideas, your team's ideas, with beautiful, elegant, eloquent ways of operating with people. And that's the type of team that I'm working with, and that's the type of team I'm trying to build, and that's the type of culture that we're trying to, high performance practices and design, how you can advance people, processes, and platforms. And everybody is working towards the same vision, goals, and dreams. So big shout out, Marissa Louie. Like, good job creating this platform for designers to talk and to reflect and to, all right, so this is important because Marissa is like crushing it in this community. She's like an epic community builder. If you haven't seen her, she's super active and she's just on it all the time. And holy cow, amazing work, Marissa. So inside this designer guild, you can actually really connect with a lot of really creative thinkers and a lot of really positive people. And it's just a great environment for learning about design and seeing and having good questions and being respectful and kind. And, big shout out, seriously, big shout out to being just awesome, Marissa, and creating this. And I just love reading what the designers are talking about and what they're trying to do, and people helping each other, and it's really great. It's really fun. So I hope this long, basically big giant update about what I've been doing and this boot camp provoking question that is something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and I hope this video is helpful for you if you are on a path right now and you're just trying to become you're trying to get to your next level. You're trying to become a better designer. You're trying to become a better person. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this was fun for you, and I hope you got to see some of my thinking and process. I mean, there's so much fun stuff that we're building and that we're making, and and understanding how to do this stuff and visualize it back to you is a lot of fun for me. So if you have any more questions, or if you need anything else, like, just feel free to direct message me, and I'll talk to y'all later. All right.